Salutations, sheeple, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Samplex0, but you can call me Sam, and today we're doing something a little bit different. There's a bunch of drama going on in communities that I'm not involved in, but I'm way too lazy to look into them, so instead, we're going to look at r/AmITheDevil, where literally everyone has been deemed wrong, and then I can judge mindlessly and I don't need to look beyond the surface. I'll be reading out a few stories, give my opinion on each of them, and then you guys will leave comments talking about your own opinions and leaving a like while you're on your way down to the comments. And we'll just have a grand old time being nosy with other people's lives. Okay, so the first story is titled AITA for setting an ultimatum regarding my sister's boyfriend. Crazy start. But okay. I, 21F, have met my sister's 22F boyfriend, 22M, 3 times already now. The first time I met him, they were in the talking stage and it was in a group of others. However, he didn't say a single word to me, or even introduce himself. For context, I didn't know any of the people there, and they were friends with my sister, met at a program she was doing. Okay, immediately asshole score grammar. She asked me to come to her celebration day when she finished the program. However, he did not speak to me at all. Even when we were all speaking as a group, he didn't say a single word. The second time I met him, I came back home from a 3-day trip and he was in my bedroom, which I share with my sister. He didn't make an effort to talk to me at all, even when I was asking him lots of questions, which I thought was really rude. I'm the kind of person who usually holds on to first impressions, but I thought third time's the charm. So we organized a board game day, which is one of his massive interests. I asked him a lot of questions to initiate conversation, only to be met with one-word replies, and not a single question back. I even made an entire meal for him, and he didn't thank me once. Only thanked my mom, who had played... Okay, this person, the way that they spelled mom is M-U-M, so they're clearly British, so the rest of this is going to be read out in a horrible British accent. And only thanked my mum, who played no hand in the cooking. I told him I did the cooking. Me and my sister are incredibly close. We're best friends. And every time I hear her talk about him, I get irritated and angry because of how he's acted towards me. Because of this, after the 3rd time, my sister had a word with him, and he cried, saying he has a really bad social anxiety. My sister makes a conscious effort to get along with his family and gets along with his parents, grandparents, and even plays with his little sister. He expressed how happy it makes him that she did so, yet he doesn't do the same for us. He even stated how much he wants to get along with us. I understand that he has anxiety, however, he clearly made an effort to get to know my sister, who was a complete stranger. They've only been dating for 3 months, but it makes me wonder why he can't make an effort with me when I have been so accommodating. The board game day happened about a month ago, and I said to my sister, I would change my perspective of him if he initiated a day for us all to hang out and made an effort with me. But he's yet to do it. So I told her today, if he doesn't plan a day in 2 weeks' time, without her asking him to, I won't be giving him another chance. I explicitly told her not to tell him about this ultimatum. I understand I don't have to like him. However, my sister is really upset that we don't get along, so I told her that he has to make the effort. AITAH for giving this ultimatum and setting this boundary. She loves me a lot and clearly loves him a lot too, so I can tell my perspective of him is hurting her a lot, but I can't hide how I feel. Am I overreacting? Okay, apologies for the horrible British accent, but I had fun doing that. So, I don't think we need to have a conversation about how this person is an asshole. First of all, like this top comment from Digging Heaves says, literally, how can you give an ultimatum about a relationship that has literally nothing to do with you? First of all, giving ultimatums in the first place, not fun. Not fun whatsoever. Also, additionally, I understand being a little bit upset, like, hey, you thanked somebody else for my effort. So I can kind of see where he might be wrong there. But I think this sister, the OP of the story, has a very bad codependency issue in relation to her sister. They're 21 and 22, and they're acting like they're 13 and 14. She's behaving like a child whose best friend is getting other friends. So, yeah. Moving on. This one was titled, AITA for giving simple advice. Very curious to see what the advice is. I, 18 female, was hanging out with a few friends, and one of them is this guy, 18 male, who just got his first girlfriend, and we were asking him questions and stuff and talking about it. He mentioned how happy he is and she's amazing and he can't believe it, and like he was holding her hand and the whole time he was just giddy over it. And all I then said was, that's kind of an ick, not gonna lie. Comes across a little desperate, clingy, needy, and to tone that down. Because even if he thinks he doesn't express that too much, he definitely probably does without realizing it. Instantly, the group jumped on me for that. The guy himself, not so much, but the few others were all like, why TF would you say that? And that there was no need and to stop trying to put him down and no one asked, etc. It's a bit of an immature group, so I just accepted that for what it was. Someone asked him if they had coitus, and he said they've done stuff, quote unquote, and made a comment about being too nervous to perform cunnilingus because he has no idea how to do that but really wants to try. I say if they're already doing stuff, why didn't he try? Sounded like he didn't even ask her. And I went on to say, not just in that context, like beyond intimacies, but like others. Like, this person says like way too goddamn much. But in others, like just is general. What? You're the asshole for not being able to grammar properly. My God, I can't read this. Just in general, it's a bit immature and not good if he's going to be apprehensive about stuff because he's nervous of what she thinks. He should be confident in the relationship. To which I was told, literally, why are you here? Absolutely no one is asking you to go off about any of this. And other stuff was said. Basically, it was wrong to give innocent advice even though it was constructive, helpful, and respectful. That is so funny. It was none of the above. It was absolutely none of the above. Okay, first things first. You're talking about this being in a quote-unquote immature group. Meanwhile, you're the one here acting like a literal child. People already jumped down your throat once for attacking somebody, for expressing their emotions. I'm not gonna go into that, but it is perfectly okay to be excited and happy in a new relationship. And if the girlfriend doesn't like that, then boo-hoo. Maybe you're the type of girl who doesn't like that. That's fine. That's whatever. But he's not dating you. To me, a little bit, it kind of sounds like you're jealous about the fact that he's in a relationship and you're not. Maybe you are. Maybe you are. I don't know. But to be honest, I personally wouldn't want to date you. Like, just looking at your personality from this post. You told him, stop being so forward with your emotions. And then you're like, why aren't you being more forward with your emotions? Like, a bestie, do your friends a favor and find people to hang out with that are more like you. Because your friends don't deserve the BS behavior that you are putting them through. This next story is titled, AIO Divorcing Husband Over a Theory. I don't know what AIO means. I'm not gonna look it up. We're just gonna keep going. I, 30 female, am a chronic overthinker, and due to past trust issues in this relationship, I'm dwelling on a potential relationship ruiner. We have been married for over a year and together for much longer, through thick and thin. My brother-in-law, 21M, is not even engaged yet, but he has a long-term girlfriend that he will undoubtedly marry. My husband will be the best man. I'm a bit worried about the bachelor party. It's a boundary for me to have no strippers in this relationship. But because my brother-in-law is so young, he will have an unruly party and has crazy friends. My husband won't plan strippers, but I'm worried the night will involve something I am uncomfortable with. Something I will divorce over. Don't talk about the right/wrong of my boundaries. They are not negotiable. So the question is, do I cut my losses now? Why waste the next couple of years when I feel like I'm facing a probable expectation? Is there a way around this? I know this situation hasn't actually unfolded. That's why I might be overreacting. Might? But also am reasonable in my marriage expectations. Help. If I do nothing, I will dwell and build resentment. Husband won't talk this out with me. And then really quick, this person added an edit. I won't actually divorce now. Y'all ripped me apart. I get it. Is it reasonable to consider divorce if this situation did unfold in the future? Likely or unlikely? Okay. I'm not going to assume what the past trust issues were, right? But first things first, a relationship can't exist without trust. And it does not sound like you trust your husband at all. But also at the same time, you're saying things like, my husband would never do this. But typically, when it comes to things like what happens at a bachelor party, that's planned by the best man. Maybe friends and stuff pitch in. I'm not sure. I haven't been a part of a wedding party yet. But from my understanding, the maid of honor or the best man is typically the one in charge of planning what events and activities happen. I'm not gonna lie, your thought process here is very confusing to me because you say, my husband would never do this, but my husband might do this and I should divorce him over that. Girly pop, first of all, why are you divorcing somebody over things that you think they might do? 2, I think you need to talk this out with your husband. Establish a boundary saying, hey, this is absolutely not cool. If this happens, I will divorce you. That is a valid boundary to have, not wanting your husband or significant other to interact with strippers. What is not a valid response, however, and I will preface this by saying, you can break up with somebody for literally any reason. If you wanted to break up with them because the sky was blue, knock yourself out. However, divorcing somebody who hasn't done something yet just because somebody else might have a ruly party. By the way, the brother-in-law isn't even engaged yet. Mans is like 21. And while yes, people do get married around that time, how long-term are we talking here for long-term girlfriend? I get it. I'm an overthinker too, but girly pop, go to therapy. Therapy. I have too many words. Like, reading this one, I didn't think it was going to annoy me this much, but it did. It did, and we're going to move on to another post. This one's titled, AITA for showing up to my daughter's wedding uninvited. I, 55M, have 5 kids. At least I think he has 5 kids because he put 6, but then he only lists off 5 of them. So I'm just reading and assuming he meant 5. Ellie, 28F, Justin, 26M, Tess, 20F, Miles, 15M, and Mia, 13F. The older 3 are from my first marriage, and the younger 2 from my second. I was married to each of their moms for about 10 years. Around 3 years ago, I decided to leave my wife, Lisa, 50F, the mother of my 2 younger children. I was very open with Ellie about this. Your daughter? Okay. I was very open with Ellie about this, as she was the only one I could really talk to about it. Things were really hard at home for a while, and I did cheat on Lisa before I asked for a divorce. Of course you did. Lisa found out I was at a bar till late one night, and I used Ellie as an alibi for the evening in question to reduce suspicion from Lisa. Lisa never found out about the truth, but Ellie did. Ellie was furious with me, but did not tell Lisa. Tess, who was 17 at the time, went back and forth between my residence and her mother's house. With all the fighting and tension at my house, she asked to stay with her mother more. Ellie and Tess are extremely close to the point where Ellie calls Tess her quote-unquote first child. Their mother and I were not around a whole lot while Tess was growing up, and she would take care of Justin and Tess often. Tess confided in Ellie about wanting to move on, and Ellie encouraged her to bring it up to me. Ellie privately spoke to me about it, and when I told her it was none of her business and that her opinion doesn't matter, she replied, when none of your kids talk to you, don't be surprised. Over the next few months, I would try and call Ellie to confide in her and talk to her about my problems, and she stopped taking my calls and eventually stopped responding to my text altogether. Tess moved in with Ellie the day she turned 18, and I have barely seen her since. Fast forward to now. 2 weeks ago, my daughter Mia told me she needed money for a dress. I asked her why, and she said I need a dress for Ellie's wedding in 2 weeks. I didn't even know my daughter was engaged, and I have never met the man she is with. I found out the details from Mia, who had a copy of the invite on her phone, and I showed up to her wedding. Immediately upon arrival, Justin and his friends came up to me and told me to leave. I refused and said I had a right to see my daughter get married, but they persisted. We started arguing, and my younger kid's mom came over to me and told me that Ellie does not want me there, so I left. It's actually crazy. Oh my god, I have so many words for this. I sent Ellie a letter a few days later detailing how hurt I was by her actions and her just cutting me out of her life for no reason. My son Justin saw the letter and said I was an a-hole for doing that. And now I'm second guessing it. Am I the asshole? Too long didn't read. Daughter didn't invite me to her wedding, but I went anyways. After being kicked out, I wrote her a letter detailing why I was upset, and my son said I was in the wrong, and now I feel bad. Oh my god. Okay. Oh my god. Oh my God. Okay. First things first. Why are you using your child as a therapist? Your child is not a therapist. Even if they were a therapist, I don't think they could ethically be your therapist. 2, why are you using your child as an alibi for your cheating? What the is wrong with you? 3, it really says something to me that Ellie did not invite you to her wedding, but she invited one of your ex-wives, who is not her mother, to her wedding. I really want to see Ellie's side of the story, because even from your side of the story, I can tell you are an asshole. You use your kid as a therapist. You blame her for kicking you out of her life, despite the fact that you used her to cover up your horrible actions. And then you send her a letter saying, I can't believe you hurt me. How could you do this? How could you not invite me to your wedding? Literally shut the up. Like, I don't even think this is something that, like, therapy could fix. I think you just need to be alone. That is what you deserve. Moving on. This one is titled, Am I the asshole for calling my friend privileged after she helped me? My friend, 35F, and I, 35F, are high school friends, and we still live in the same city together. She is a software engineer, and I'm a nursing attendant. The benefits she gets are insane. Work flexibility, unlimited PTO, work from home, etc. I love that for her. That's the only stuff I know about. There could be others. Not to mention, even though I don't know her salary, it's much higher than mine. Even compared to nurses, which also requires a bachelor's, her benefits are much better. I often feel jealous and mad at myself for not pursuing education and getting a cushy job that doesn't involve bodily fluids. I know I'm not good with computers, so what she does isn't an option, but my job involves shift work, verbal abuse, and occasional more and constant drama from everyone. My daycare ends at 6 o'clock sharp, and I was basically commanded into staying at 7 due to staffing shortages. I didn't want to, and when I called the daycare, they said I had to pay $75 for a member of staff to stay another hour and a half. My husband works nights and went to work at 4, and my in-laws weren't answering my phone. So I was panicked. I make less than $40 for that extra hour of work, so it wasn't worth it. I remember my friend isn't that far from the daycare, so I asked if she can pick up my son. She said sure and picked him up to her house until I could get there. I kind of read ahead a little bit, and this next sentence, pissed me off a little bit, especially seeing as this is Am I the Devil, and everybody here is literally the asshole. I picked him up and she already had dinner ready and asked me to join them, and I felt weird refusing, so I stayed. Afterwards, we sat on the couch a bit and she is still working and brought her laptop to join me. I asked her why she was working so late and she laughed and admitted she got a massage midday, so she wants to make up the work. I was shocked and asked her how her work can allow it, and she said they don't care as long as the work is done. I told her she was insanely privileged, and she got annoyed and told me that it was part of her work benefits, and her boss goes on a bike ride every day, so it is an expected thing to be able to do when working from home. I said sure it is for her, but the rest of us would never even dream of something like that. She shrugged and said there was downsides to her work too, but I admit I was kind of pissed she cannot admit her privilege and said it's nothing compared to healthcare. And she got mad and told me if I didn't like it, I should just leave. Not complain how privileged she is. I left after that, and she hasn't responded to our weekly morning walks. So I'm wondering if she's still mad. I think she is dismissive and thinks that leaving my job is so easy without more education or skills. I know neither of us are privileged in the traditional sense, as neither of us are white or rich, so she probably doesn't feel like she is. Okay, first of all, girly pop, you are making $40 an hour. First of all, maybe I'm not really sure how this works for babysitters because I'm not a mother. Well, I am a mother to 2 lovely baby boys. They should be up on screen now, but not in the traditional sense, right? I don't really know how babysitting works, but I'm sure, right? Hire a 16-year-old who lives in your neighborhood to be able to pick up your kid from daycare, or maybe, hear me out, develop a time machine, go back in time, and stop yourself from being an asshole to your friend who is using her privilege to be able to help you out. Yes, it is very nice that she gets to work from home and basically work whatever hours that she wants to while you are commanded to stay until 7. I agree that sucks. However, I don't know what you expected when you told your friend, how dare you be privileged, while actively abusing her privilege to your benefit. I think that you have ruined this friendship. Maybe if you grovel enough, you can learn from your mistakes, but even so, I don't know. If I was the friend in this situation, I would probably never help you again. Why aren't you just happy for me? Why are you complaining about the fact that I'm able to save you money and pick up your kid from daycare? I don't know. What do you guys think about this? How do you think that OP could potentially fix the situation? Maybe I've just been jaded because I've been listening to Reddit stories for so long, but I couldn't see myself wanting to continue this friendship. This one is called AITA for criticizing a girl who ruined the stage play. Me, 17M, and my friend, who I will call Amy, 16F, are members of a theater troupe outside of school which performs musicals and other stage plays. Recently, a new guy, I'll call him Rob, 17M, joined cast of our new play alongside his friend, who I would call Natalie, 16F. Unfortunately, despite everything going well in rehearsal, the stage play turned out to be a huge fail. During the scene where Natalie was supposed to have a solo moment, she just froze on stage and didn't speak at all. I started telling her that she should do something, but she just didn't move. I wanted to improvise, but then Rob just went on stage and just summarized the scene to the audience instead and told us to skip this scene. I guess you all can imagine that the audience wasn't impressed with this absolute shit show that was going on stage. And it looked like everyone didn't even rehearse and forgot their roles. I'm still like, I still have to read the rest of this story, but I really don't like this dude's vibes. For those who are just listening and not also reading what's on the screen, my guy is cursing up a storm. I have to skip over it because like, I don't know how much YouTube will let me curse, but he is cursing up a storm. He is unnecessarily aggressive. And I don't really like that whatsoever. Afterwards, I called Natalie out for forgetting her lines and she tried to apologize. I was mad at her and I yelled that I didn't want to hear any apologies right now. She also said that she didn't forget her lines, but she couldn't speak to the audience because she had a bad stage fright and got too stressed because of too many people watching. To which I told her that if she's too scared to face the audience, maybe she shouldn't even try to be an actor. After what I said, Natalie started crying and left. Rob kept defending her and he told me I went too far with criticizing her and that I shouldn't call her out because she already feels guilty, and because she's my fellow actress in the cast, I should support her instead. I snapped at him because this play was important to me, and he accused me of being selfish and only caring about how I feel. Then he started insulting my acting skills and said that I don't have what it takes to be a star, and that he quits the cast. Amy tried to calm me down and assured me that she had a lot of fun during the play, and asked me if I feel the same. I yelled that I didn't have any fun because I was stressing about the play being terrible. I think it was reasonable that I got mad at Natalie, but I feel I may have acted like a jerk because Amy is still upset after how I acted after the play, and she said she lost the motivation for theater because last play left everyone unhappy. So, AmITA for calling Natalie out. Okay, first of all, you didn't criticize Natalie. You didn't call her out. You yelled at her. I don't know anything about the background of this acting troupe, right? I don't know if you guys are getting paid. I'm not sure if this is a thing that's just for fun, but it is literally never that serious. You basically yelled at a coworker. You yelled at a coworker, caused her to run off crying. You caused multiple people, assuming Natalie also quit, you caused multiple people to quit this theater troupe and lose their motivation to be in a theater troupe, which I'm assuming was just supposed to be for fun. All because it was important to you and somebody else messed up? My guy. First of all, I don't see where you get off yelling at people. Yelling is never appropriate. Literally learn to control your emotions. Yelling is never appropriate. I get that you are technically a child, but you are basically an adult. One day you're going to yell at the wrong person and get punched in the fucking face. But that's just me personally. You're an asshole. You're the asshole. You need to learn to control your emotions at the very minimum. Well, these stories all, frankly, just annoyed me so bad. I was going to point out a specific story that just annoyed the hell out of me, but all of them did. All of them annoyed the heck out of me. So yeah, that was fun. That was funky fresh. We will absolutely be doing this again. I love talking smack about people and things and situations, but also not all the time. So we shall see. We shall see. So what do you guys think of the stories? Who do you think was the biggest devil here? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and yeah, I hope to see you guys in the next video. And in case I don't, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.